Today, we're going to talk about the old expensive way of marketing is over, right? And I think sales and marketing go hand in hand. There is a real baton handoff. It's like a relay race, right? You have your marketing team and your sales team, and there's a real baton handoff that both teams are holding that baton at the same time. And if it gets dropped, it's all over. So we're going to talk about how there's really no more one-trick ponies. There's the new way that anyone can use regardless of your budget, right? You don't have to have the massive budgets of the large companies in your area to really be effective. We're going to introduce the Everywhere framework. We're going to talk about how to create a larger than life appearance online, how to unleash the hidden sales opportunities for every customer. And then Adam is going to show you how to flip one sale into 10. Right? So one sale into 10. So if you get a chance, or if you want to take this, take your business serious today, turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook. Over the next 60 to 90 minutes, if we get, we're going to be here for some Q&A at the end. So, we'll stick around and make sure to answer all of your questions. But for at least the next hour here, if you were able to tune in and make sure that you're working with us, that you're participating, Adam and I could talk up here, but we'd love your feedback and questions and comments as we go along here. This will help you really generate better results for your roofing company, moving from 2022, closing out the year and into 2023. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is Jim Ahlin. I'm the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, host of the Roofing Success podcast. I'm the co-author of 2 books, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors and The Best Known Roofer. And I'm also the marketing coach in Adam Bensman's Pitch Pro movement. And we do this as a marketing agency, as a digital marketing agency for roofing contractors all day, every day. Adam, who the heck are you?
Yeah. Hey, welcome everybody. If we haven't met yet, my name's Adam Bensman, the roof strategist. And I realized, Jim, if you can cycle to the next slide and then we'll switch. I only have this ask one more time till I take over. I'm the host of the Roof Strategist YouTube channel and podcast. You can follow along. I do 2 new episodes every week. We also syndicate through every podcast network that you might tune into. So why did I start that? I had folks driving around sending me pictures of themselves watching videos in their truck or streaming the audio. So we said, you know what? We should make this easier. So all of our episodes are also aired to a podcast if you're more of an audio type. And I am the newest official sales training partner with Owens Corning. So I've been on the road with Owens Corning here for quite a bit, actually building this relationship over the last 2 years. And Jim, if you can pop one more slide in, I've also developed an all-in-one sales system called the Roofing Sales Success Formula. I know we got some familiar faces on our webinar today of folks who are using that. It's a full sales system from knock to close. It does include all of the goodies of what we're talking about today. Don't worry, no matter if you use my system or create your own, what you'll learn today, you'll be able to run with and implement in your business, no strings attached. But in the upper left, you'll see a team training. They're actually a company we help take from 1.3 million per month to 2.5 million per month in climbing. Down in the lower left is a gentleman who messaged me in his very first year in the business, earned $242,000 and thought of me as he was writing a $42,000 check to the IRS, which by the way is more than twice what I was making before I got into roofing. And then we've got just some other folks here sharing what they have to say. Learning to close deals effectively. So I've had an opportunity now to serve tens and tens and tens of thousands of roofing sales people, and I'm going to be sharing with you what I've learned through that direct experience. And recently, I haven't shared this publicly, but I recently tallied up the total volume of sales that I've contributed to, and on a super conservative level, we are now at over 3 billion in sales that my training, my strategies, or my marketing material has directly helped drive. So that number is well north of there if we're not as conservative, but no need for that. So anyway, super excited to have you guys here.
That's amazing, man. That is a crazy number to think of.
It was wild. I just did some math the other day with the team. Wow. We started breaking some things down and I was like, holy smokes. And anyway, pretty cool. I'll break it down with you later, by the way. We'll go through them all.
For sure.
Fun to calculate.
So years ago, Adam and I met. We have a group, a Facebook group called Roofing Success. And if you want to join there, it goes along with the Roofing Success podcast for listeners of that. And someone just kept mentioning Adam's name in there, like about all this great stuff. So I reached out to him. We had a conversation. We jumped on a podcast episode together. He was on the Roofing Success podcast. I think one of the first 3 episodes of the podcast, like early on. And then since that time, it's been about 3 years now, Adam. Like October of 2019 is when we kind of met up, and we just realized, wow, you're a really good dude. Like, I like what you're doing. And then along the way, we've just tried to work together to help roofing contractors, find more success, right? And that's what Adam does every day with the Roof Strategist and with the Pitch Pro movement. And that's what we do here at Roofer Marketers. So, as we're getting going here, I do want to introduce you guys to the Pitch Pro movement. Are there any Pitch Pro movement members on the call? If they are, drop a 1 in the chat if you're on the call.
Usually I see one.
You see one in there?
Yeah. Hey, Sergio. Good to have you here,
man. What's up, man? So, Adam, could you explain the Pitch Pro movement to everyone, just to give a little overview?
Absolutely. So high level, and this really just is kind of more context to understand why we've come together, because I don't work with just anybody. I don't have any sponsorships or endorsements. I am Owens Corning's official sales training partner, but I'm not paid to promote Owens Corning. I'm paid to show up at their events and help their people grow. So at any rate, not disclaimer aside, I kept having people turn to me after they got our program as they grow, because business is just a series of creating new problems that we need to solve. And that's what makes it so addicting and fun. And the same is in sales. So people began reaching out and they said, hey, Adam, do you have ongoing training? Hey, Adam, can we work with you inside a group? Do you have a mastermind? Can you train our team? Where can we ask questions? And I didn't really have a place that was affordable for everybody. It was just the one-on-one consulting. And now I don't even have bandwidth for that till February. So I wanted to assemble this group, and I started the Pitch Pro movement to support my people. And it wasn't until 2 months in that Jim and I ended up on a call. And the reason that all these other mentors are here is because of Jim. I quickly learned that I needed more people with areas of expertise that complemented sales and leadership. So anyway, I hand selected, with Jim's help, who I believe to be the best in their niche. So Deshaun Bryant with door-to-door and mindset. Obviously, Jim, I've worked with a lot of marketers, and I've spent a lot of money with marketers. And I really believe in what Jim's doing, and know that the team there has a deep understanding of digital strategy, proper advisory board, and not falling into the same gimmicks that most marketing companies overpromise and underdeliver. Do you have the capacity for 20 more roof projects this month? Like, it's the same. I just got an Angie's List call, by the way, because my cell phone's still on old directories from my roofing days. And then John Cenac, there's no one better than John. I don't even need to introduce John. Everyone knows John. And then Cody Landels, CEO of one of the fastest roofing companies in America. And I was just meeting with Cody. So inside, we do live interactive Zoom sessions like this. We have 132 of them in a year, a private podcast with all of our recordings, private discussion board, leadership masterminds, and more. And if you're interested and you want to join us inside, each session breaks down to be less than getting lunch for your team. And it is just a really rich environment where you'll be surrounded by some like-minded people looking to do right by people, grow their business, develop personally and professionally. We'd love to chat with you. So you can scan that QR code, or if you're interested, our team will respond if you text the word demo over to the phone number there. And I'll just put that in the chat as I punt it back over to Jim.
Yeah, cool. Enough talking about us, right? Let's get into it today. What is the real reason for buying a lead or spending money on marketing? Please type that in the chat. For your company, for your roofing business, as a salesperson, as a roofing company owner, what is the real reason that you are buying a lead or spending money on marketing? Conversions, Matt says, make a sale.
I know that there's other answers I want to give because I
I
have
know
a different answer than this, but
there's
as
so
folks
many answers.
are putting in there, I think this is a really a good experience for everyone. If you're not engaging in the chat, which you should be, but if you're not, I want you to at least think about this, because these thought exercises, we need to challenge our thought processes to evolve. And our greatest weakness, while you're thinking in here and dropping these in the chat, now that we see some coming through, our greatest weakness and our greatest opportunity are the exact same thing. And it's what we don't know. It's what we don't know that gets us into legal trouble, gets homeowners suing us, gets sales reps taking advantage, whatever the case is. And what we don't know is also our greatest opportunity, because that one little breakthrough, like a small casual hangout talk with Jim that led to the Pitch Pro movement evolving, changed my life and is now impacting hundreds of people's lives because of that one moment. So let's see what we got in the chat here.
Yeah, we got some more. Spending money is easier and more predictable than canvassing, JR says.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna tickle some controversy here with some of the door knockers on the call here today. Door knockers struggling without a big storm. Matt, boy, that's a big one, right? The cyclical nature of the roofing industry, especially in in storm restoration markets. Michael says growth, period. Cindy, sales, right? New opportunities to grow the business and keep my guys busy, Mike Brown says. All true things, right? And that's what we're doing. Marketing is buying market share, right? And that's, as a business owner, on a very simplistic level, that's what we're doing. We're buying market share. I'm sure that you guys understand and have seen those companies in your area that you're like, oh my goodness, they are everywhere. I don't know what kind of budgets they have, but it's outrageous. And what that leads to is that old adage of the company that can pay the most for a customer wins, right? So what are you guys willing in a perfect world? Let's do a 0 to something, right? Like, of course, 0 is what you want to pay for every new customer in your business. 0 to what would you pay to acquire a new customer? Drop that in the chat. And what we're trying to get at here is that a lot of times we're focused on a lead cost. We're focused on a customer acquisition cost. What we want to put together in this framework today for you is to emphasize the long-term value of a customer and show you how these large companies with large budgets are able to pay for that. Or not even large companies, companies with the right system in place, right? If you have the right systems and processes in place from the marketing side all the way through the sale, you are going to be able to spend more on a customer. Seeding what I talked about at the beginning of turning that one, if you're able to turn one customer into 10, what are you willing to pay for that first customer? If you are 100% confident that you can turn one deal into 10, what are you willing to pay? So Joe said 400 is a reasonable price for him, a reasonable customer acquisition cost. I like the, like Costco, right? People go to Costco. Costco has that the $5 chicken still, right? But where do they put that? In the very back of the store, right? There is a cost to acquire you. Their goal is to get you in the store, right? Is to get that exposure to you, to get you in front of all of the products that they provide. So what we're really wanting to do is making sure that we're getting you in front of all of those people. So Matt says really depends on the size of a job, but generally no more than 3 to 4% of the job costing towards marketing. That's a great way to put it, a percentage. The industry standard marketing budget for a roofing company is about 5%. Our clients, we see between 3 and 8%, depending on their model, right? A company that has a strong canvassing team, they may not have to put as many dollars into the marketing side, right? Because they're putting dollars into the boots and knuckles, right? But the dollars are being spent. So it really depends. So how do these companies do it? Right, is what we want to answer for you today. Like, how how do they do it, and how can you compete? How can you put the right systems and processes in your business today to make sure that you are efficiently and effectively developing the long-term value of each and every customer? And really the way they do it, I've talked to lots of great company owners, is it's everything from the initial phone call all the way through knocking the neighbors' doors to putting direct mail or handing out, doing a door hangers or handwritten letters to all of the neighbors while they're in the neighborhood. It's having good branding, trucks on the road, signs in the yards, putting on a show on production day, right? There's the companies that are doing all of this together are the ones that are able to pay the most for a customer. So the old way of marketing, let's talk a little bit about the old way of marketing. And don't do this. Please don't do this. The old way of marketing is just to write checks and hope for the best, right? There was very little ability to track conversions for a long time. But in the digital age now, we can really get very clear on where our marketing dollars are being spent and really target our marketing dollars to very specific locations and perfect and customers, right? We can pull the demographic data on people. We can pull the geographic data. We can target. We can geofence, as the term is, and really that's what we want to do. So get rid of the old ways of marketing, the old and get rid of that old mindset of just write a check and hope for the best, right? There are no magic pills, though. There are no magic pills. You have to put the work in, right? You have to put the work in. You have to have your systems down all the way through from the time that company comes into contact with your brand, whether that's on Google, seeing your truck, seeing a sign in the yard, being at their door, all the way through the sales and conversion and asking for referrals, right? All the way through, you have to have a tight process. And so the new way that anyone can use, regardless of budget and size, is really what we want to talk about today. And that is the fundamental shift in marketing especially into the 2020s, right? You guys know there's a lot of cool software out there, right? There's a lot of cool software for a lot of different things. If you're not tracking your lead flow, if you don't know where your calls are coming from, what marketing is most effective to you, you are losing out. You're just losing money. So but the fundamental shift is to be everywhere instead of being everywhere to everyone, to be everyone in the neighborhoods that you're serving, to get focused because of technology and digital marketing, along with canvassing and being in the neighborhoods. You can really get focused on being in front of those customers and dominating markets, right? We call it neighborhood domination. Adam coined it to me as the everywhere framework. Samir, give us a little overview here, Adam.
Yeah, the being seen everywhere, there's kind of two things. And I just put this in the chat. I hear, and I hope I don't upset anyone when saying this, because I'm all for dreaming big. I really am. But almost every roofing company I talk to, they have the same vision. It's one of two things. I want to get to 100 million, or I want to be the biggest roofing company in America. Those are the two like boilerplate goals. And so many people chase, I want to be the biggest. And it's funny because it's all about the company, not about the homeowner, right? It's not about the service. But either way, that's beside the point. What many people think is, well, if I just write big enough checks, I'm going to have the coolest vehicle wraps, and they put all this time and energy into what the vehicle wrap looks like. And I'm going to have billboard ads and do TV ads and radio ads because I want everyone to know I'm the biggest. So there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to be able to pay to play. And many people lose a lot of money playing that game. What this big shift is to be seen everywhere is to be the biggest name and the most recognizable name where it matters, and the only place it matters, which is surrounding your customers. And at first, there's two things that I did not believe in when I heard them. One was, Jim, when you said this in the beginning, you said he who's willing to pay the most to acquire a customer wins. And I'm seeing in the chat, $400, 10 to 20%, $500 to $1,000, which are all very valid, right? But what's important is, instead of trying to fish in ponds where there's no species that are going to bite on your bait, we just want to drop the bait in the best place, which is where people already know us. So I look at buying, which I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but buying your way into a neighborhood and layering in boots, knuckles, and your digital to be seen everywhere in that person's life, from when they drive to their home at night, when they walk up to their house, when they're on Facebook on their phone and cycling between Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, when they're searching roofing companies, when they're retargeted with ads, when it's showing up in the news feed, when they get letters in the mail, all of these different touches just localized on where it matters and where you can get work. And I've lost business to companies that have no presence whatsoever, by the way, that I'm like, how are these people dominating? This is my backyard. I'm the roofer that lives here, but they just did it better. And I realized that it's super easy to be the victim. You know, these buttheads came in, this is my backyard. But at the end of the day, we just have to realize they just did it better than you did. And it was a tough pill for me to swallow, to be like, well, they just did it better. How do I level up my game so I can compete and squash them? And that's what the Everywhere framework is, blending boots, knuckles, and digital to dominate every neighborhood that you're in.
I want to tell you a little story. I was talking to one of our clients yesterday, and we were talking about they are the epitome of this. They have very well thought out and methodical systems, and from the time that, you know, they're very omnipresent in their market to the neighborhoods that they're working in. They're out there in the morning hanging door hangers. They're out there in the afternoon knocking doors. They're just doing this process over and over again. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but search volume on Google is down a lot this year. And it really started happening around May, right? When all the recession talk started happening. You know, Google search volume is down for roofing companies. They're in a full retail market. Their lead volume compared to last year is 40% less. 40% less than last year. They are up 20% in revenue and have filled the pipelines of 4 additional sales reps.
Wow.
Because of the process, because they focus on this. And so let's talk about how customers find you a little bit, right? This is why we call it the Everywhere framework, right? You have a potential customer, they visit your website, but they leave without calling, right? Then later they surf the web. And we do a best practice in this is doing what are called retargeting or remarketing ads. So now they go to they go check the weather. There's an ad for your company. They go check the scores. There's an ad for your company. They go. This is a real story, Adam. My dad texted me on a Sunday afternoon about 9 months ago, maybe a year ago. I'm playing solitaire on my phone. There's an ad for your company. Is that expensive? Right? Being in it with the Google retargeting, you can get into all of the apps, right? Like it's all over. You just get ingrained in this, in people's Gmail accounts, everywhere they go. All of a sudden they see your ads that recaptures their interest and brings them back into your ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that potential customer turns into a happy customer. Here's another example, right? Your neighbor, you're in the neighborhood, you already got a signed contract, you got the sign in the yard. The neighbor sees that sign in the yard. Don't think they're not Googling your company. You know, some of them may call from that sign, but a lot of them are going to go, oh, Joe's Roofing, cool. Let me go home and look them up, right? There was a study done recently that 70% of the buying decision is made before they make a phone call to you these days. Isn't that incredible? 70% of the buying decision. So now they go look you up online. They look at your reviews. But then on production day, knock, knock, knock. Here you are, right? You're at their door. Same branding, same brand message, being of value and of service to these people. Later on, they're surfing the web. They see your ads that build more trust and you close the sale, right? Or another example, right? Now you're sending letters, you're sending direct mail, you're dropping off letters. They receive your letter, they Google your company, visit your website, they call and schedule an inspection. Again, as they're surfing the web, before you even show up for the appointment, they start to see you everywhere. Your ad builds additional trust, you close an additional sale, right? Taking it a step further, you ask for referrals, right? You meet with the referral. They're looking you up on Google. They're visiting your Facebook page. They're visiting your website. You close another sale. They leave you a Google review, and the cycle continues and continues and continues and continues. But the whole goal is to create a larger than life experience. We had a client come on board with us back in 2019. Brand new company. And we have call recordings. We listen to every phone call that comes through our client's business to determine if it was a qualified lead or not. We filter out all the spam so that when we're reporting to our clients, we're reporting only qualified leads. So we're listening to the calls, and let's just say this business owner was a one-man show and not the best at answering the phone. There are a few roofing contractors out there like that. And he answers the phone like hello or something like this, right? Because all the calls are just getting forwarded to his personal cell. He's a brand new company. He's just getting started. And the person on the other end, I remember this recording vividly. The person on the end was like, is this XYZ roofing company? And he's like, yeah, this is so-and-so. And they're like, oh, I thought you were a big I thought you were a bigger company. Because of the unprofessionalism in the phone answer, right? The person, by what they saw online about this company, they're like, this is a brand that I can trust. But then it got to that phone call and they're like, maybe not, right? But it's that you can create a larger than life appearance for your company online. And starting in that, the foundation of that is building out your Google presence. In marketing, there is the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. We encourage you as roofing contractors to build out your presence online from the bottom of funnel first to the top of the funnel over time. The bottom of funnel is when people are typing in roofing contractor near me. In this example here, it's roofing companies, Philadelphia, right? When someone types in roofing contractor, city, state, they are most likely looking to make a phone call, right? They're most likely looking to make a phone call. That is at that bottom of funnel. We refer to that as having commercial intent. So when you have commercial intent in that search, Google displays the search engine results page in a very specific way. At the top of the page, there are Google local services ads. The next thing are Google AdWords search ads, Google ads, search ads to be specific. Then there's a map with 3 companies listed in the map section. And then there are the websites that Google feels most relevant to that search. So going through these, the Google local services ads at the top of the page, when they show up, they get about 14% of the traffic on the page. Below that are the Google ads, search ads specifically. Those get about 11% of the traffic on the page. So if 100 people type in roofing contractors Philadelphia, 14 of them on average would click on those Google local services ads. 11 more would click on the ads. So essentially Google's taking 25% of the traffic on the page to their profit and loss statement, right? This is how Google makes money. But in this, there are a lot of opportunities, right? So we talk about our first core principle is to maximize the opportunity to generate a lead online. And so these Google local services ads are the first opportunity. You just go in and apply for them. You set up a budget, you set up your service area, and you're off and running. You can check our YouTube channel, Roofer Marketers YouTube channel, for a full training on everything you need to do to maximize your lead flow out of there. But for today, let's just talk about, this is one of my favorite leads online right now. the lead cost of this, who is putting in like $400 and $600 and $2,000, $500 to $1,000 for a customer acquisition cost. The leads in this area, depending on the market that you're in, are between $35 and $75 per lead, right? So you can really make that customer acquisition cost work very well in Google Local Services ads. Each of these areas has advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage of Google Local Services ads, you can't just order 100 today. Like, hey, I want 100 leads this month. There's a little bit of Google's algorithm and they're working. But in this, right, the lead cost is so good that you need to be a participant in it. Also, you could get geographically targeted down to the zip code. So as we're talking about here in the Everywhere framework and really becoming dominant in a neighborhood, you can get very specific on your geographical targeting to make sure that you're showing up in those neighborhoods that you're working. The next thing, Google Ads, right? Google Ads get about 11% of the traffic on the page. This is the most expensive way to make your phone ring online in most cases, especially through Google's platforms. Depending on the market that you're in, leads can be generated for between $100 and $350 per phone call, right? So it can get more expensive, but the advantages here is that you can get very, very targeted on the demographics of the people you're targeting, the locations of the people you're targeting. And there's a weird benefit here too that I think is a little bit funny, but Google will always take your money. So Google, you can always be in this area if you just increase the cost per click that you're willing to pay for these searches. Google will always take your money, and that can be a major advantage in this area. So someone asked, is that cost per lead, are those qualified leads or tire kicker type of leads? Well, let's define that, right? A lead is someone interested in a service you provide in your service area. There are tire kickers in there. That is a lead. What I want you to frame your mindset around a little bit more is maybe a qualified lead, it may be a prospect. I refer to that more as a prospect, right? That's someone that is willing to take an appointment with you and for you to do an inspection or an estimate on their property. That's how I would define that. So hopefully that helps you out. There are going to be tire kicker leads. The conversion rate on leads is not 100%, right? They are leads. They are just raised hands, right? They're not a closed sale. So we want to make sure that we have a good understanding about that. Thanks for that comment. That's a great comment. So now we move on to Google, to the second, or the third and fourth opportunity on this page, and that is the map section and website SEO. So the map section, or the 3-pack where your Google business profile lives, is probably where most of your organic phone calls will come from. If you have some online presence built up, if you've done some work on it, on SEO. But it's extremely proximity based, right? We have clients here, you know, in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area. We have a client over in the western suburbs, and we have a client over in the eastern suburbs. Their two Google business profiles will not overlap one bit. It is just too far of a distance between those. So a disadvantage of the map section is that it's extremely proximity based. So this is what I like to express to you guys. If you don't have an office space yet, it's an easy decision. Look for where your perfect customer lives. That's where you get your office space. I know it's easier to say, well, there's this cheap industrial building that has a nice yard and a nice warehouse over here. But as a strategic marketing play, getting that location versus a nice little office space in a strip mall near your perfect customer, or an office building near your perfect customer, will be detrimental to your results. But there's another part to this. You can show up in the map section and still not get phone calls, right? You have to have as good or better a reputation than the companies you're showing up next to. So you see here, there's Universal Roofing, 29 reviews, 4.2 star rating. Union Roofing, 3.6 star rating with 83 reviews. And Four Seasons Roofing, 4.6 star rating, 16 reviews. First of all, who are you not calling right away? Off the top, guarantee Union Roofing is not getting a lot of phone calls from this, even if they're showing up in the map section, right? So making sure that your reputation is as good or better than the competitors in your area. The next opportunity is your website rankings. This is where Angie's List, Yelp, Home Advisor, Better Business Bureau, GAF, all of these big lead aggregators are working on SEO and spending millions and millions of dollars to show up in there. But there are always a couple of local companies that show up in this area. So it is always it's a great opportunity to generate additional phone calls for your business. So that's that bottom of funnel, right? Into the middle of funnel, you want to develop blog content, social media content around the questions that your customers are asking. Things like, what is the typical cost of a roof in my city, state, right? Adam and I were at Dimitri's conference last year. It was Marcus Sheridan was speaking. He's awesome. Check out his book, They Ask You Answer. It's a great reference on getting into the mind of your consumers and developing the right questions to answer. Now they visited your website, right? They clicked on an ad of yours. Now we start putting those ads in front of them, right? We start putting those ads in front of them. They go check the weather. They go check the scores. They're on an app on their phone. Wherever they're at, that's where you are. Not only on the Google network, but also on Facebook and Instagram, right? Instagram right here. I got everyone live on Instagram. Retargeting, keeping yourself in front of all of those customers. So and then also using social media advertising, Facebook and Instagram, to develop brand awareness in your market. So you may not be running a Facebook ad just for lead generation. You can be running a Facebook ad just to get your brand in front of your perfect customer over and over again. So it's very important to cover the whole, what we refer to as omnipresent. Become omnipresent in your market. And in doing so, that leads to great results. You could see this company, they've been with us since February of 2020. They're 3,075 leads. In that time frame, they've spent $269,000 or invested $269,000 of their marketing in this. But you could see that we have a good mix. The majority of their calls are coming from organic, which is what brings that lead cost down. But there's Google ads, Facebook branding ads. There's a Facebook roof tune-up ad. There's a map extension. That's the ad that shows up in the maps section. There's Facebook lead gen ads. There's Google organic. There's all of this different mix of ads. And that's that beginning of the process. That's getting them into your ecosystem, getting you the opportunity. Then what you do with the opportunity is what helps you maximize the long-term value of that customer. That was a lot, right? I just wanted to get through all of that for you guys. What questions does anyone have on that? Drop it in chat.
What I saw, let me look at my calculator. Assuming all of the leads converted into appointment, which I know, let's say 70% of them do.
Yeah, 60, 70%. Yep.
So you would be at, with however many leads they just had, on the low end, about $269 to acquire a customer. By the way, that's a cash machine. I would add a zero at the end of that and I would still spend the money. And what so many people, I see this mindset shift. And by the way, I'm going to jump in. We got a whole bunch more to get through on the combining the knuckles and the boot side. But Jim, correct me if I'm wrong. That's when you know predictably I put this much money in, this much comes out.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's $2,000 if I'm going to make $4,000 on the roof. Do I want to do that all the time? No, but I'm willing to when you guys see what I'm going to show you, because it's more
right.
than just that customer. It's how does that customer spread into many, because that's virtually free marketing. So should we jump in? Should we keep rocking and rolling, everybody? Yay, nay? Good to go? All right.
All right.
Jim, can I hijack the steel screen share here?
Yep.
And which monitor do I do?
Are you able to do it? Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That's the
So you
wrong
should-
monitor.
Perfect. It should be, but then it might not be. Let's find out. Hold on. I'm using the new one.
There you
Other
go.
way.
Nope, that's the presenter view. Adam's
right.
learning PowerPoint. Adam's good at live.
So what you'll
Nick
find
Brannon,
out
what's up, man?
is I'm like basically a senior citizen when it comes to this. Like your grandma is more tech
That's the
savvy.
one, Adam, right there.
Cool. Look at this. So what
Got
we're
her
going to talk
ethics.
about.
Justin, how are you, man?
Yeah. Now that we teed everything up, Jim, thank you. That was phenomenal, man. Just getting into that journey of how our customers are responding, and we just need to think what we would do. And by the way, also remove yourself. I know we said we need to think what we would do, but we don't always think like our customers. So the best answer is think like our customers. So our mission now is to unleash the hidden sales opportunities from every single customer. This is how we can dominate the neighborhood. Now, pop it in the chat. I'm curious. How many sales opportunities are hiding inside this customer's experience? So people say, hey, what do you mean? What I mean is if I sell one customer, that one customer, by me doing a really good job taking care of that customer, means I can tap into multiple different sales opportunities. I want to see what's in the chat. I see 5, 3 to 5, 6 to 8. These are all really good numbers. Now, this is where people aren't going to believe me. Brower says 1 to 20. And the answer here is 25. By the way, I'm going to spell every single one of them out for you so you can see this. So there's 25 sales opportunities hiding inside the customer experience. And Sean, I like that. There is virtually unlimited. You know, and Sean, I will not disagree with that, because that's powerful. You know, you can continually drip to that customer in time. But what I'm talking about is setting up a dialed system through that experience. So Sean, you one up me, and I do appreciate that. That's great. And the problem is most companies only focus on 2, right? And they miss the other 23. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Now, before we do, who's heard this before, especially in roofing sales and in door knocking? Sales is a numbers game, which, by the way, there's some truth to this, but I also know I've worked with people who've been out knocking doors for weeks and they don't have anything to show for it. And the next guy goes out and goes 3 for 3. So numbers game, absolutely part of it. But would we all agree on here, for the sake of this conversation, that assuming 2 people are of equal sales capabilities, that if one person has more touches or more opportunities, they're going to make more sales, right? That's a relatively predictable metric that I think we could all agree on. So how do we get 25? Here's how. From one sale, we have these key touch points. Number 1 is reaching out to the insurance agent. All right. Now, storm retail does not matter. Getting a roof replaced has implications, no matter how it's funded, that the insurance policy should be updated to reflect the new roof. It's also time for that agent, if it is a claim, to touch base with the homeowner, because they're either going to love the service or hate it and leave and skip to the next agency, skip to the next carrier. So next thing is canvassing the neighborhood. These are the touch points. I teach the SLAP canvassing formula. If you're unfamiliar with that, jump on YouTube. I've got a whole playlist on this. And the next piece is emailing with our customers. Next piece is direct mail, sending mailers around our builds. There's more to that, which I'll hit in a moment. And then leave behind letters and referrals. So that's a great intro. But again, let's shake this out. We have 25 sales ops from one customer. By the way, I say ops for short of operations. Okay. When we acquire a new customer, there's natural stages of that customer experience. There's likely some sort of trigger within your CRM, meaning sign a new customer. That's when I collect a deposit, select colors, and I have a contract. So I'm going back to the office with a contract ready to build. When the job gets scheduled is the second stage. There's another touch point with that customer, right? Hey, we're letting you know the date of your install. Then we have install day, when we should be back in that neighborhood working the neighbors. By the way, Number two, well, I'll get to that. Number two here, it gets skipped very frequently on when the job is scheduled. We don't go back out there because we think that there's really no key touch points. Then we have when the install's done, and then PIF stands for paid in full. Once the job, again, when the job's done, that's like the minute the last nail goes in. We have our checklist to make sure the customer's happy, job's cleaned up, all that stuff. And then paid in full is after that customer's already paid. So let's shake this out here. The biggest opportunities that are missed are when the job is scheduled and when the install is done and when it's paid in full. Most people, if they're excited, they'll sign the neighbor up, maybe knock on the neighbor's door while they're there, maybe, and they'll sometimes show up on install day. Within each of these, you're going to see how these touch points shake out. Before I break that down for you, though, which we will in just a moment. Actually, did my slide disappear? No, it didn't. It's further down. My apologies. We moved it. Now, following this system, and I should have, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Following this system, I want everyone here to think of it like a guaranteed weight loss plan. Unless there's a medical condition, I know thyroid issues, no matter what you do, you won't lose weight. But for most people, weight loss is science. I say this, I lost the 30 pounds I gained when I was roofing. And when we know, okay, my calorie input and my calorie output, there's math that shakes out. We know what to eat, what we can't eat. We follow the system, we'll lose weight. The only time that we won't is when we jump ship, when we have cheat meals and we skip our workouts or we eat too much. It's the only reason. This sales system is the same way. You follow these steps, all of these touches, which I'm going to spell out in just a minute, they work. And I want to share with you just 4 really quick stories. One is a guy named Marshall. He was an individual sales rep. His annual sales were 300,000. So not good. We can all agree 300K for a year in roofing, not great salesperson. Within 6 weeks to switching to the system, he generated $500,000 in 6 weeks. That included a 2-week vacation. So essentially in 4 weeks, well, we're counting some of the trickle of leads coming in while he was sitting on the beach. So he made $500,000, sold $500,000 in 6 weeks. I had another guy named Bill Sansom. I interviewed him on the YouTube channel. He's 60 years old, sold 2.2 million in one neighborhood in his first year with no roofing experience, and ended up roofing 63 out of 73 homes in that subdivision. And one of the regional sales leaders at Owens Corning lives in that neighborhood. I didn't know this at the time, but he ended up on Scott's roof. And when I talked to OC about it, it's like, oh, I know that guy. He was in my neighborhood. And then the last 2, I had a guy leave training, no experience, rookie, green bean, day 1, signed 8 deals on his first day in a neighborhood because that neighborhood was so well worked. All right. And so familiar. That's what I mean by well worked. And then the last one is a gentleman named William, who came from being an accountant, fell into the business, ends up calling me one day and he goes, "You made me $5,000 today." And I was like, "Dude, that's really cool. Tell me about what happened." And he layered in the direct mail letter after he signed a neighbor. He left the letter at the door, and then he used the canvassing strategy that I'm going to teach to show back up and knock the door. The homeowner says, "I got your letter and I've been meaning to call. Thank you. While you're here, will you hop on my roof?" So he got a call off the letter, signed the neighbor, walked next door, signed him out. And then he also earned $250,000 in commissions, which is phenomenal for a first-year salesperson. It's phenomenal for anybody. It's extra phenomenal for a first-year sales rep. So let's get into this. Desktop 2, I think, is what I need to share. There we go. So like a guaranteed weight loss plan, we have control, consistency, and the ability to maximize our sales. This is what I call the formula for roofing sales success. By the way, this solves, in my opinion, the #1 biggest problem in roofing. We bring people in. We say, "Hey, you can make a whole bunch of money in roofing. How do you do it? Go work hard and put in the time." And that's what we hear. So they run around like a chicken with their head cut off, basically doing 8 hours of bicep curls for the hopes of a 6-pack. No one's going to tell them they're lazy or they're not working hard enough. It just so happens that they're doing the wrong activities. So we take the mystery out. We follow the key touch points of the experience. We give the rep a checklist of what to do in all the material to use. And when we do this, we make their job a lot easier, because instead of showing up cold, who's done it, by the way? I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Be real with me, because if you can't relate to this, it tells me you've never knocked a door in your life. Who's done it? You're in the neighborhood, not a good day, rejected, no one's home. So you're like, "I'm going to go get another neighborhood." And then you jump in, you do a little scouting, drive around, Grass is greener in this neighborhood. You get out, same results. Then you do it again. Grass is greener in this neighborhood. Okay. And I've done this. I ended up signing jobs in everywhere that was illogical. And each time we do that, we put ourselves in a position where we're cold. So again, as Jim mentioned before, join your customer on the journey that they're going to be taking to call you. We need to join that customer in where they are. So if you're not driving, play along with me. I want you to close your eyes for a minute. Again, if you're driving, please keep your eyes open. So if you're not driving, close your eyes. And I want you to picture this. I want you to picture that it's a late Wednesday night. It's about 6:45 and you had a long work day. You just finished dinner with the family. You guys sat down on the couch to hang out together, maybe put on something on Netflix and chill with the kids. And then you hear it. What are the first two questions that come to your mind? Who is this and what do they want? So now we know that when that homeowner is walking to the door, in their mind, who the hell is this? What the hell do they want? They open the door, they see a name of a logo they've never seen before, and it validates it. Who the hell are you? What do you want? But when it's warm, when that customer has seen us in the neighborhood, they've seen our yard signs, they've seen our truck, they've seen builds going on, they've gotten a letter at the door, a letter in the mail, they might have searched for us, they've seen us on Facebook, they search for us on Google, see a retargeting ad in the newsfeed. Now we call that warm. They're still thinking, who is that? But instead of that knee-jerk human response to say, no, I don't know who you are, that logo is familiar. And in their mind, it's, oh, hey, now they're more receptive to you because it's a warm lead. You're not a complete stranger, right? What do they say? You know, like, and trust. And by the way, there's a gentleman named Jack Schaefer. He's an FBI agent who wrote a book called The Like Switch. And he breaks down what he calls the friendship formula, the formula he developed to befriend foreign spies in the US and convert them to spy on their home country. The first thing is proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity. Proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity. So proximity, how close you are, frequency, how often, duration, for how long, intensity, what is the depth of how we're helping people. And if it works to flip a foreign spy, I think it'll work in roofing sales. And then again, the hot, going from warm to hot. So when we work this system, we're no longer ever working anything cold. We're working everything warm, and then they become very hot very quickly. Hot is referrals, warm handoffs. Okay. So what this allows us to do is to dominate every neighborhood by flipping one sale into 10 or more. And I know this is a picture of me in a different life when I wore a suit. Just kidding. All right. So I want you to see how this works out. Now we're going to sketch this so you can see how this shakes out, that this isn't just a bunch of claims. Flipping one sale into 10. We have on the right-hand column with the blue check mark, these are the key stages of the customer experience. All right. We designed them such that it's easy for your boots and knuckles, meaning your salespeople, to get out there and go do this stuff. Because when we study sales, what we need is good behavior. Good behavior is formed off of good habits, and habits are formed off of triggers, instances, an acute moment, which these all are. Agree? I signed a new customer. That's an acute trigger. Boom, I got a checklist. I'm going to do these activities. Hey, the job's scheduled. Boom, I'm going to be reaching out to the customer. That's a trigger. Install day. Boom, I got to be out there. That's a trigger. Install's done. Boom, I got to be out there to serve my customer. That's a trigger. When it's paid in full, there's not one sales rep on this call that does not know that day. All right, we know that day. That day is the best day of our job. So we pair these with the left-hand column of those touch points of emails to introduce yourself to the agent if they respond, a way to nurture that relationship. Emailing the customer the project updates with a referral request baked in on every single one, canvassing the neighborhood with a specific message at all of these stages. I teach this, by the way, in my sales system, everything to say at the door, and include all the marketing material to use. Including our direct mail letters to send to all the neighbors. This can be fulfilled on your own, cheap DIY. In fact, it's more expensive, and I'm about to start a split test campaign. I'll keep everyone updated on a really sharp handwriting machine versus a typewritten letter with handwriting on an envelope in a larger envelope. If you can see my video feed, an envelope like this. So we're doing some testing with a client of mine, and I'll keep you posted. And then again, those leave behind letters. Now, I don't leave glossy stuff on the door, because what does that scream? Put yourself in your customer shoes. You drive into your home, you see something hanging on your door, and it's glossy. It screams, I want to sell you something. So what do? You do what everyone does. You take it off, you look at it for a second, you crumple it up, and you throw it in the recycling. So we need to get past that decision tree, which is why we use personal letters on plain white paper with no logos at the door. We use different ways to package that up to leave it on the door so it stands out. Again, I teach all how, but one tip: piece of paper, fold it up, blue painter's tape, put it on the door, write their address number on the top, put that thing on the door crooked. When someone pulls up, first thing they're going to do, blank piece of paper, open it because they're curious, turn it to see what it is. There's no logo. They're forced to read it to find out who sent it and who stopped by, because humans are curious as hell. We all are. So then they can begin making those calls. So when we layer all of these in, this is how we end up getting to 25 touch points. We don't use every single one for each stage. This is how we get to 25, and this is what it'll do for you. Yes, I am the graphic artist of this gorgeous portrait here. And let's take a look at sale number one. Is the one that you bought your way into the neighborhood with a lead that Jim's running for you. You land it, you fire off the insurance agent introduction email, and you knock on the neighbor's door. You land deal 2. Deal 3 comes from the insurance agent that says, you really wowed us with your service. I've never had a roofer reach out and offer assistance through the project to help me provide a better experience. Thank you so much. You know what? I'm working with one of the neighbors. They're about 4 blocks over. Here's their address. So you go sign deal 3. After you do, you now knock on that neighbor's door. That neighbor, you get to say, hey, their insurance agent recommended that I work with them to do their roof. While I'm here, I wanted to stop by and ask, how's the process been going for you? You sign the next one. During an install, deals 5 and 6 get fired over through referral by teaching to ask for the referral at every stage paired with the proper referral strategy. One of those referrals then later calls your office off of, hey, I saw you in the yard sign, but they don't remember where, because they saw you on the yard sign, got the letter in the mail, maybe Googled you, but it doesn't matter. So they just say, I saw you in the neighborhood. So you got a hot lead. And then again, more referrals. You'll get calls off the mailers, referrals from the calls from the mailers, and then the deal just keeps growing as your network grows. By the way, I just spoke with a client of mine. This is going to sound like an exaggeration, and it's not. They use this strategy. And in the 6 weeks from after when I left training with them, I've trained them for 2 years. They signed 1,000 roofs in 6 weeks. By the way, that was a 35 million in sales in 6 weeks, working a system like this. Okay. It was wild. Now that's a grand result. I don't expect everyone to. They're poised to have that take place with the right crews, all that jazz. The way that this works even better is when we layer in what Jim's talking about. Adding in that digital omnipresence, this stuff becomes viral because now they're seeing you in and out of their neighborhood every day they leave to go to work. Or better yet, since everyone works from home these days, they're seeing you even more because you're there all the time. You make it easier for your team. When that homeowner is bouncing on devices, they see you everywhere. And what we end up doing is handing you literally the formula to, there we go. Sorry, slide was stuck. To consistently maximize on all 25 sales ops. So you don't have to worry about being the biggest roofer in America. You don't have to worry about being a 100 million company. You need to just worry about buying your way into a neighborhood. Because if it is a expensive acquisition, it doesn't matter. So I want to shake out what I mean on this, and then we'll come to a close here with some questions. When you can buy your way into a neighborhood, you can win against the big boys because you have targeted messaging and a very specific strategy to tap into the network of every single job. So the reason in the beginning, when I said, you know what, I will happily spend up to $2,000. Why? Because I know if I get in there, I'm going to be flipping that into 10 deals. So this 2,000 might be high, but if I make 4,000 on a roof, I'm still $2,000 ahead. I'm looking this as buying my way into that neighborhood that I want to get in. So I'm going to run ads strategically, knowing that when we work the system, I'm going to crush that neighborhood, and all of this will feed it. So my acquisition up front might be high on this one job, but if I attribute all 10 sales to that, I am now down to sub $200. Okay. So with this predictable cash machine, when we play that game, he who is willing to spend the most to acquire a customer wins. I always thought was garbage. I said, you're not selling smart. And I said, no, you just got to learn how to play better. That, my friend, is how we play better. So what I want everyone to do now is write down the 3 action items that you're going to take away from today. You guys have invested some significant time with us. If we calculated the value of this room and everyone's hourly rate, it would be a very, very expensive meeting. And I know that in sales and in business, if I invest my time or energy, I sure as hell expect a return way higher than my time. So I'm always looking, what's that one thing, like the conversation I had with Jim that truly changed my life? The conversation I had with Jim where I'm like, hey, the one thing for the book I'm writing, by the way, first time I've said it publicly, I'm writing a book. You guys will be seeing about that soon. that Jim helped me dial down the process and the plan to do is going to cascade into massive growth and opportunity for me. So that one thing, wherever you find it, jot down 1, 2, and 3 items that you can truly execute upon. And Jim, if I hijack this from you, I do apologize.
No, that's perfect, man. It really is. I'm going to simplify it. The most successful contractors, the most successful roofing contractors specifically, are the ones that are the best at turning one into many.
Mm-hmm. No
Right.
doubt.
Like let's not overcomplicate it, right? Like there's a lot of steps and a lot of things that you can do in the process. Break it up, start small. If you're not doing this in your sales and marketing right now, start small. Start with one thing, right? Add the next thing, add the next thing, add the next thing. So for those of you that are taking the time to write those 3 things down, or 1, 2, or 3 things down, drop some of those insights into the chat. We'd love to hear that from you. What you're, Adam and I both do this to create value for you guys. The mission of Roofer Marketers is to help roofing contractors generate more revenue through their digital marketing. And we don't care if you're a client of ours or we can do it through these educational channels. That's our mission. So drop something in the chat about what you plan to take action on.
Yeah. While that comes through, and then we're going to flip to our last couple slides here for you. I want to share with everyone the 3 things that I would take away as the highest value. Number 1, getting retargeting ads set up should be low-hanging fruit opportunity number 1 for everybody, because all that means is anyone that interacts with anything on the internet with your brand behind it, whether that's on Facebook, off Facebook, on Google, means that you're going to be able to get back in front of them. It's amazing. And every single business in America needs to have these running, roofing companies especially, because if they visit you and then leave and forget, you're gone, you're out of the world. Otherwise you're in there. The next piece I would do is what Sean said, is the touches between sale and last visit, making a map of all of those key activities. If you are interested, of course, I shamelessly do have this all done, proven, and being used by many thousands of contractors in every state in the US for both storm and retail, from tiny companies to the top 100. But you can still run with this. New customer, job scheduled, day of install complete, paid in full. Take advantage of those touch points, blending in all of the key opportunities that I've listed here on this slide. Okay.
Speaking of those touch points, quick, our next webinar next month is on how to build out your customer journey. Building your customer experience step by step from the time that they interact with your company all the way through the long-term value and the touch points on an ongoing basis. Yeah. So we won't have Adam on for that one. It'll just be me. So you'll be stuck with me and not Adam, but it's
gonna be awesome.
I'll do my best.
Jim, I know that one will be great, because I know you did something similar in the Pitch Pro movement, and it was phenomenal.
Exactly.
My third piece on here, I hit the first 2 I do here. I'm going to leave you the third one, and then we'll slide over. By the way, Josh, kudos. He said, start targeting neighbors at the time of an accepted job rather than waiting until the day of the job. Absolutely. You guys got to remember, I used to be hesitant too. Oh, I don't want to ask for a referral or work the neighbors because we haven't been paid yet. But I'm like, no, people don't work with you if they don't trust you. They liked you to work with you. You've made a promise to serve. All you got to do is fulfill upon it. So knowing you've won the business, in my opinion, it's very fair and very reasonable to do that. All right. Third thing I'd take away is this: write down the number 1 step, the first step you need to take to execute items 1 and 2. I speak to you as if you're me, because you and I are wired very similarly, being in the roofing sales world with the attention span of a gnat. To me, sometimes the easiest thing to get started is to literally open a Google Doc and just put a headline of my action plan. Sometimes that step is, if I do want help, I'm going to reach out to that person. If you want to chat with us and our team to learn more, we'll share with you how to do that. If you want to chat with Jim for help, do that. If you're a self-starter or a DIYer, or you have someone on your team to delegate, just outline the easiest baby first step that's going to knock that domino into motion. So my key takeaways is, number 1, fire up retargeting ads. Number 2 is to outline the list of the touch points and when I'm going to start marketing around that job. And then number 3 is, I'm going to talk to the person on my team that I need help with on this mission to outline a plan. And that would be my third step. Jim, I'm going to kick it back to you. And do you want me to run the next 2 slides?
Just run it to the next 2 slides. If If you guys are interested in having a conversation with us about helping you get the most out of your digital marketing, feel free to reach out, roofermarketers.com, give us a call, however you want to reach out to us. That's my pitch. You can move on to the next one. You guys will see me everywhere.
Yeah, because you practice what you preach. I know we got folks on here who are using our stuff. For those of you that aren't, if you are interested, we do a completely no pressure appointment as a private demo to walk you through this and show you how we can help you get your team trained up in a lightning fast 9.5 hours, self-generating more leads with all the DIY marketing material, templates, and the entire copy paste library that I showed you, including all the checklists and the entire sales system and plan, and to get your team closing deals confidently. Inside there is an entire leadership suite as well to help you recruit top talent, trim the fat, sell people on working for you and not the competitors, and then setting your team up for success. If you are interested, scan the QR code. But what I would highly recommend is you text the word demo to 303-222-7133. On Monday, we are having a rate increase due to a bunch of new stuff coming. It's going up $1,000 if you want to get in. Now would be great because it'll save you $1,000 and you're going to get all the updates for free. So if you book a demo, and if you can't get that demo booked by Monday, that's okay. We're locking in everybody who has a demo booked with us. So there you have it. And I just wanted to say thank you again to everyone for joining us here today and investing your time. We ran a bit long, but that's usually a good thing. That means we're on it, and hopefully everyone's got a bunch of notes. So Jim, I'm going to punt it back to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, just for everyone on here, if anyone has any questions, that you want answered, to dig in a little bit further, we'd be happy to answer those for you. If not, if we don't have anybody bring in some questions here, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys later. Any questions?
Let's see.
No?
There we go. We are good.
Everyone, thanks again. Will this be emailed? Yes, Brower. This will be emailed. The replay will be emailed out to everybody. It'll be put up on the Roofer Marketers YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. Nikki, when will that happen?
In about 2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours. The replay will be up and available for everyone. Thanks for your time today. Look forward to talking to you guys in the future.
Yeah, you guys be well.